one serious kick-ass cannon, weighing about 14 tonne and fired a round which weighed about 80 kilos. So put a decent hole in a boat if it nailed it. G'day everyone, welcome back. Today, something a little bit different. I'm just about 10 minutes out of the Hobart city and I'm coming up to an old gem that's hidden away here, and it's known as the Bellerive Fortress up on Kangaroo Bluff. So I'm out on the old DR, the old bush pig. So I thought I'd go for a bit of a ride and show you around something that's a lot of people don't know about. Even some of the locals that live here didn't even know this place existed. And it was built back in the late 1800s, and the idea of it was to protect Hobart town, or the settlement back in those days, from enemy warships. And apparently back in those days there was Russian ships sighted at the south and the mouth of the river, and posed a threat to obviously the settlement of Hobart and their supplies and so forth. So they decided to build this fortress up here, which is one of three. This was the third one built, and mounted it with 4 cannons, 2 really big cannons, which I'll take you down and show you shortly, and 2 smaller ones which aren't here anymore, but you can see where they were mounted. They used to fire a round weighing around 2 kilos, so still packed a reasonable punch, and they were a rapid fire sort of cannon. And in the back here, I'll bring you around and show you that, one serious kick-ass cannon, weighing about 14 tonne and fired a round which weighed about 80 kilos. So put a decent hole in a boat if it nailed it. There's 2 of those, one here and there's one over the other side, which I'll show you later. All this place was built out of solid rock and faced with solid rock, faced with sandstone, and it was built around the late 1800s. Here's one of the little hidey holes. I'll just turn that around so you can have a look in there. And you can see it's all locked up. You can't go in these days, but have a look in here. There's lots of areas where they used to store their supplies, ammunition, etc. And these tunnels all link together. So they can make their way, even though they're all locked up these days, they can make their way from one side of the fortress to the other, all by underground. Quite incredible really, considering back in those days there was no such thing as excavators or backhoes. It was all done by man, probably convict labour I guess. I'm going to head up this way and show you the actual moat, because they built a moat that went right the way around. Here's one of the tunnels that they could access. Quite cool really. So they're down below eyesight from any enemy, and they can make their way around the fortress without any risk of being fired upon. I'm going to take you up to the entrance where the drawbridge is, or used to be, and show you some of the moat that used to go right the way around. It was a moat that probably, I don't know, it was probably 15 feet deep, and that was to stop enemy soldiers that made it to shore. If they managed to get up the cliff face, this stopped them from trying to get into the fortress. And this here, it's all been drained now, because apparently many years ago a 12-year-old boy drowned here, so they decided the best thing to do was drain the moat. I can remember it having water in here as a kid, so it must have been back in the 80s sometime. And you can see the wall they made, the huge wall, that's probably 15 feet high, and laden with sharp glass across the top. So this is the original entrance, where the drawbridge would have been, no doubt. And there you can see in the distance the mouth of the Derwent River. There's a bit of a map of the layout. I'll put the drone up in a minute and have a look around, but you can basically see the layout of the 4 cannons. See the 2 large cannons facing down the river, and the 2 rapid fire lighter weight ones off to the sides. So if you're up this way and you're in Hobart and you've got an hour or 2 to spare, it's only 10 minutes from Hobart. from the CBD, so it's worth a look. Doesn't cost anything to come here. It's open from basically daylight hours, so you can walk around freely, take as many photos as you want. Pretty cool place. Only reason I knew it was here is because I grew up in this area as a kid, so I'm familiar with it, but I was surprised at the amount of locals that didn't know this was even here. Everybody that comes to Tasmania knows about Port Arthur and knows about Richmond. That's all promoted, but very little said about the Bellerive Fortress, and it was one of 3 that was built. So there you go, bit of a history lesson today, something a bit different on the old Bellerive Fortress here in Hobart. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to go for a ride in the old DR now, the old chook chaser, for the rest of the day. So until next time, thanks for watching, ride safe, see you soon.